Hey friends, I just wanted to hop on here to talk a little bit about the services that I offer when working with women. First of all, I want to just thank all of the women that have been showing up for themselves and really trusting the call to go deeper within themselves. My schedule is fully booked now with clients, and it makes my heart so happy to see women trusting the call and trusting in themselves to really go deep so that they can be fully embodied. So thank you for showing up. So I just wanted to give a little bit about the work that I do. When working with me, we go through many different processes, and each session is a little bit different depending on the intention, or where we've been the session prior, and what the goal is. So first of all, what's going to happen in a session is a really deep connection to all the layers of yourself. You're not one-dimensional. We're multidimensional beings, and we're meant to express ourselves in so many different ways. And in a masculine dominated world, we tend to try to fit ourselves in a box or in a very linear way. Like we have to feel and be one way all the time. And this isn't speaking to men at all. This is speaking to the archetypal energy of the masculine that resides within all of us, and that we've been programmed to navigate from. But as a woman, it's counterproductive, and it doesn't feel natural for us to live in that place. So when working together, we start to understand the feminine body and the cyclical nature that we reside in. As someone who lives in the feminine body, we ebb and we flow, and we in a circular cycle. And our bodies, our minds, and our wombs, our psyche, that moves through so many different aspects of ourselves. And we tend to ignore, suppress, or even get aggravated with those other parts of ourselves that maybe we are ashamed of, or we don't understand, or society has deemed them as negative, or whatever it might be. But when we can fully understand the root of it all and why we're moving through these cycles, then we can show up in a way that is fully embodied with radical acceptance and radical love for self. So with that, I wanted to talk about a few of the ways that we might be disconnected. So disconnection might look like being disconnected from your sensuality, from your sexuality. It might look like being disconnected from your purpose, feeling like you don't belong, a block in your creative flow, an inability to express your emotions in a healthy way. It might look like there's a block, but you can't really put your finger on it, but you know something feels off. You don't feel safe in your body. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust your body. You have no response flexibility, meaning you're not aware of your triggers. And so when something arises and you're not aware, you just react. And then later on, you tend to feel guilty about that reaction. And so much more. There's so many ways we're disconnected, but those are the main things that arise within us when we're feeling very disconnected. So with all of those ways of disconnection, we can reconnect to self. We can understand ourselves deeper so that we can navigate this world from a place of true embodiment. So some of the services that I offer and what we would move through in our time together, one would be womb healing. And so we learn and understand how the womb is the creator of your entire life. Yes, your entire life. The womb is the creator. It is the womb that moves through cycles and carries us into different aspects of our psyche, carries us into different sensations and feelings and emotions within our body. And we've been disconnected from this powerful portal, this powerful energy center for far too long. And my mission is to bring women back to this connection, because this is innately within us and it feels natural to be connected to these cycles. The womb also carries so much emotional pain and trauma. Because it's our power center and our center of creation, everything gets absorbed in that area. So when working together, we go in and we discover what emotional pain, trauma, and memories the womb is carrying. And then through different techniques, through different somatic techniques, we release those energies from our body that are no longer serving us. With all of that, we then get into psychosomatic healing. Now, this is such a powerful technique, and our body stores memories and trauma and wisdom beyond what the intellect of the mind can comprehend. When we work with the mind only, and we only do talk therapy, it's a beautiful healing technique and way to understand self, but it only connects us to about 30% of our healing, because we're missing a huge piece here. So when we integrate the body in our healing, and we include all the memories in the body, we can really understand the deeper layers of ourselves, because our body carries what's called implicit memory. And implicit memory is unconscious memory. It's unconscious from our mind. It's primal. It's intuitive. It's the basis of our conditioned emotional responses that we've developed in childhood. It's something the mind can't quite get to on its own, but the mind can get you there with the help of the wisdom of your body. And so that's why it's psychosomatic healing. So we will work with the body first to understand the pain and the discomfort that the body has. Because whatever pain and discomfort the body has, the mind is going to react to it. And we can try to change our thoughts as much as we want. We can reprogram by just trying to change the thoughts. However, if there's still discomfort and pain in the body, the brain is always going to respond to that discomfort. And so if we can get ourselves into a parasympathetic state, into our parasympathetic nervous system, and really relaxed and open, we can then dive deep into what the body has been trying to tell us and what we've been ignoring, popping pills to ignore, doing other things to distract what's happening within our bodies. We get to the root of it by consciously going into the body with someone who is trained in these trauma therapies. So, which brings me to now inner child healing and integration. We all have something that has happened to us when we were children, whether that's conscious or unconscious, and that has caused us to develop coping mechanisms, protective mechanisms, and behaviors that perhaps served us. In fact, these mechanisms most likely helped us to survive. Now, though, in our adult life, because they're so unconscious, they act as a dysfunction, and that dysfunction is what is holding us back and creating that block within. So through the wisdom of the body, we track sensations, we track emotions to help gather information that will uncover the unhealthy patterns, the unhealthy belief systems, and anything else that feels like is blocking you from fully stepping into who you are and fully trusting yourself. And when we can get to these parts of our inner being, we can see the inner child, we can track the sensations to bring us to memory. And in the memory of childhood, we can understand the exact moment of when we created these coping and protective mechanisms, which is so powerful because it's like a breath of fresh air. You feel so relieved to understand why you do the things you do, to understand where the root of it came from. And in that understanding, that's when we can start to create new patterns, create new belief systems. We can create new neural pathways in our brains to start to make shifts into the person that we want to be. Because we're all walking around as what's called the adultified self, meaning we're trying to be adults and we believe we're adults. Yet it's really the inner child within us that is navigating the world from a wounded place. So when we can connect to that, the parts of our inner child that are that have been wounded, then we can really connect back to the purest essence of our soul, because ultimately children are the purest essence, right? And so when we can accept what has happened or what we have done, what was developed in childhood, we connect to the purest part of the inner child, and we can navigate from that place, from purity, from unconditional love. So through these processes, through all the processes that we go through, there's at the end this connection, there's wholeness, there's embodiment, there's a deeper understanding of yourself. And again, that alone is a breath of fresh air. After our sessions together, you can live from a place of being unapologetically embodied as a woman, really knowing who you are. And you can create space for creative flow, for emotional intelligence, for radical acceptance of self, for unconditional love of self, from a pure connection to your sexuality, this really powerful energy that allows you to create all the things you want to create in your life. Feeling safe in your body, trusting yourself, trusting your body, and moving through your life with intent, with purpose, because you know who you are and you're willing to allow all the parts of you as a divine feminine being to be fully expressed. And that's what we need to get to, an embodied place of the divine feminine. Allow these parts to be shared, to be expressed, and to really be authentically who we're meant to be on this earth in this human form. I think I touched on most things. I probably missed some things. There's so much more that we do, but those are the main pieces that we work with. And within those main pieces, there's small, intricate details that arise and processes and techniques that we move through to really allow for this expansion. So if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. Everything we do is confidential. You can send me a DM and I'd be happy to do a consultation with you to see if it's a good fit for us to work together. Thank you so much for listening. This truly is my purpose and my gift here on this planet. And to step into this and have women trust me and themselves to go through these processes is such a blessing. And I'm extremely grateful. And I hope that we can work together soon. Sending you so much love.